The downfall of Bardock. So for those who don't know, Bardock is my favorite character in all of Dragon Ball. Being the father of Goku, he's nothing like Goku, man. He's a real badass. Especially the one from Z. The way they downplayed him later on in Super and they retconned him, I understand it was the idea of Akira Toriyama, but I don't agree with that, man. That was an L from Toriyama right there, taking the story of Bardock and butchering it entirely. The one from original Z was so badass, all originally starting out as a ruthless Saiyan, being able to see the future and knowing what Frieza is going to be doing eventually. And that being Frieza betraying the entire Saiyan race. So in today's video, we're going to be reacting to a video by Uraza. So in today's video, we are going to be reacting to a video by Uraza, The Downfall of Bardock. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, let's do this. Look at that, Jesus. The two Bardocks side by side.
I guess we're talking about this again.
Oh, man.
So Dragon Ball is finally coming back.
Yes!
Unfortunately though, that also means we're eventually going to see Super Bardock again. And because of that, the vocal...
Look at that Bardock, man!
That also means we're eventually going to see Super Bardock again. And
yo, they turned Bardock into a beta male, man, honestly. How can they do this to my goat? They gave him generic Saiyan armor, making him look like every other random Saiyan. Instead of the cool green and blue and black that he had going on, with the red sleeves and the red bandana. Oh, man.
Full minority of Super Bardock lasers.
Bardock going from an edgy cardboard to an actual character upsetting y'all will always be funny to witness. Look at this guy taking the SHIT out of us, man. Look at his profile pic though. He's a Jujutsu guy. I mean, I would expect nothing less from them.
Crawled out from their cave again and are trying to shift the narrative, arguing that Super Bardock is actually better.
How is Super Bardock better than Z Bardock? I mean, look at the two.
And are trying to shift.
Look at the two, man. This Bardock looks like he's genetic Saiyan number 3, and this Bardock looks like he's cut out from a different mold, man. He looks badass.
The narrative, arguing that Super Bardock is actually better, and trying to slander the vastly superior original. Ron did make a video a while ago where I went over some of my
I'm sorry, man. Look at that. I can't believe I haven't mentioned this earlier. The new Bardock, the one from Super, right? They essentially turned Goku's backstory into Superman, and they turned Bardock into Jalel. That's exactly what they did, man. Like, him being all loving family man, wanting to send Goku to space because he found out about Frieza's plan to destroy the Saiyans. Now he wants to send Goku to Earth to... No, man, no. The original Bardock story was incredibly original. The fact that he didn't care about Goku initially and then eventually saw the future and saw that Goku was going to be the one who's going to defeat Frieza. He started caring about him slowly and gradually. But in them making him a family man, like, nah, man. I love the fact that with this new backstory, they introduced Gine, but sure, they just made it generic story number 25 or whatever the fudge.
Your issues with Super Bardock. I've never made a true dedicated video.
Yeah, he should be putting a whole hand through that Bardock's chest, man.
Going over Super Bardock specifically. So, in the wake of the Super Bardock...
I never did this, the second comment. A friend reminded me that Super Anime is going to also cover the Granola arc as well in the future, which means we got to deal with him. You gotta be kidding me, man. Yo, this black blur ain't wrong, man. I can see why the Jujutsu guys are clowning us, man, because yo, the Granola arc, for all of its positives, the fact that we had to deal with beta male Bardock was the absolute worst, man, honestly.
Lasers coming out of the woodworks. We need to once again send them back to their caves by going over all of the reasons why he's a downgrade from the original.
Jeez, look at that.
First of all, I just want to remind you that if you're a manga purist like me, then Special Bardock will always be more canon than the Super variant.
Exactly. That made no sense to me, man. What didn't make any sense is the fact that Akira Toriyama, he intended to make the Bardock, as he mentioned, special Bardock because he comes from the Dragon Ball Z special episode. But Z Bardock, he intended to make that Bardock canon to the manga. So essentially that Bardock is canon. I don't know why Akira Toriyama retconned it, but flippin' hell, man. That Bardock was so truly original. It was so badass. I don't know why he changed it.
Since Special Bardock is literally in the manga, not the super variant with a different outfit.
At least they kept in this scene, I'll give him that.
Even without that, Toriyama intended for him to be the Bardock from the special when he included him in the first place. But that's of course just the cope I used to ignore Minus weakening the themes of the original manga.
I'm just gonna say this, right? I don't take the Dragon Ball Super version of Bardock as canon. I know the people say that, oh, it came from Toriyama, so it has to be canon. It is canon. Look, I don't take that as canon. I don't care what happened in the Broly movie. That ain't my Bardock. My Bardock is a goat and he a beast from Dragon Ball Z. I don't care about this new one, man.
What do I mean by that? Well, that brings us to our first problem. Minus is of course a retroactive origin story for our main character Son Goku.
Let me just read that again.
Minus is of course a retroactive...
I'll go steal a space pod tonight. We're gonna launch him to a different planet. Guinea. What? Why do we have to do that now? Being an infiltration baby can be very dangerous. It's for Kakarot's safety.
Character Son Goku.
It's for Kakarot's safety, man. Bardock would never say something like that.
And because of that, we have to look at Minus in the context of the series we're retconning. In Dragon Ball Z, we got our first glimpse of Goku's origin story, where Raditz explained that Saiyans were ruthless conquerors, that they're assessed at birth, and the weaker babies like Goku are sent away to lesser worlds, in the off chance they're able to wipe out the population, and actually contribute to the Saiyan Empire. This introduces the idea...
So what does that make his relationship with Raditz then? I mean, if he was all loving towards Goku and wanted to send him off to Earth, what was his relationship with Raditz? Was he just like treating him as a misunderstood teen and he's like, oh, he'll grow out of it? Was that his relationship with him? Because I don't know, man. Retconning one thing just made it seem like the entire backstory of Goku didn't make any sense.
The life of a Saiyan is predetermined for them at birth, which directly opposes one of the main lessons of martial arts, that being the idea of bettering yourself through hard work. So later into the story, after Goku trained for the arrival of Vegeta and Nappa, they are in absolute disbelief that some low-class trash could actually rise above the stage.
Yes, that's the story of Dragon Ball Z, man. Even if you classify it as a low-class warrior, you build yourself up through hard work and determination, and you can still pull through and you can still knock them out of the park and become the strongest.
Even giving the most talented Saiyan in history a run for his money.
Yep.
All of this contributes to the Saiyan saga being one of the greatest works of fiction ever to be put to page.
I agree, man. The Saiyan saga is... A lot of people clown on it now because, and they downplay it, but the Saiyan saga is, as he mentioned, one of the best works of fiction ever created, man. There's a reason why Dragon Ball blew up as it did, because of the Saiyan saga. And your favorite phrase, it's over 9,000! Yeah, it was, the official translation is actually 8,000, but it just shows that mistranslation blew up. Over 9,000 became a massive thing. I even have a cap that says over 9,000 on it. Yeah, it is really big.
That's why it's such an insult that Dragon Ball Minus, and Super Bardock by extension, came along and harmed those themes. Fundamentally, it's important that Goku is some backwater nobody. He's supposed to be an example of someone who got lucky. Despite being a member of a savage race of bloodthirsty monsters, Goku was fortunate enough to bump his head, which dulled his violent impulses, allowing for him to grow up as a decent person.
Yes, and allowing him to achieve the Super Saiyan transformation. When he puts it that way, it just makes me think, man, the fact that they made his parents loving and caring goes against the entire backstory of Dragon Ball. The fact that he hits his head as a baby and started being calm, gentle, and more pure-hearted, and going against his Saiyan biology. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It is. It goes against all of that. Just it downplays the themes that the story of Dragon Ball was all about.
Open to learn from those around him. But Minus seemingly forgets all of that, implying Goku wasn't just another low-class Saiyan. Minus tells us that Goku is actually the exception, that he had 2 loving parents that cared for him, and he was special enough to be sent to Earth for his own protection. No longer is Goku just a low class that rose above his station. Now, he's the super special chosen one sent away by love. Instead of being Son Goku, the most iconic anime character in the world,
yeah, they turned him into Superman.
Now, he's Teemu Anime Superman.
Yes! He's Teemu Anime Superman. That's exactly what he is. They butchered Goku's backstory just because they wanted to reveal Goku's mother, but they did it in such a ass-pull way, man. I can't put it any other way.
It was very important to the Saiyan saga.
Toriyama, I get that Toriyama was a masterful writer, but let's face it, in his older years, he was forgetting a lot of things, including Bardock's backstory.
That Goku was just some guy. But now,
all due respect to Big Tori, man, he's one of my goats, but still, you can respect someone's work, love someone's work, and also criticize them at the same time. I mean, it is possible.
The same
No one is void of criticism.
saga is significantly worse, since Goku wasn't actually proving the class system he descends from wrong. His parents already did that long before him.
Yeah.
Now, you might think, didn't Bardock already defy their class system before Goku during the special? Well, sort of. But as we'll get into here, Bardock tried to defy it, only to fail miserably. Which is
Yes.
part of what made him so compelling. Okay.
Yes, that's the thing. That's what made Bardock so compelling, man. Look, when Bardock is first shown in the special, you're inclined to hate him because him and his teammates are talking about him recently having a son, and his response was, "Oh, I have a son. Yeah, I think I have a son, but he was born a long time ago, even though he was just born yesterday." He didn't care, he didn't give a damn about Goku, man. He came across as one ruthless, heartless Saiyan, like you would expect the Saiyans to act. But the fact is, Bardock was slowly showing that, look, he does have a soft spot. He's different from the rest of the Saiyans. Yes, he's still ruthless, but the fact that he found out the truth of Frieza and Frieza wanting to kill the Saiyans, yeah, that changed everything.
That was a lot of discussion about Goku and not Bardock. But all of that was important context.
Yo, look how cool my goat looks there, man. Jesus, in the green, dripped out with the red bandana.
To move forward. Part of what makes Bardock so special is how out of left field it was.
Putting the bandana drenched in blood over his forehead, that one of the moments went hard, man. That moment went so hard, flipping hell.
In Toriyama's own words,
Yeah.
his stories generally lean more lighthearted. So the special presenting such a dark story to the franchise gave the series more depth. Like I said earlier, Toriyama enjoyed it so much that he decided to make it a canon part of his manga.
Look at
which
that.
is something he didn't do for literally any other anime production.
Yep, exactly. He didn't add any of the movie characters within his manga, man. Bardock was the only one he did that for. And if he did retcon any of the other characters, he basically redesigned them and added them to the canon events, like, for example, Broly.
The thing about Bardock is he was a true Saiyan, a perfect example of why Frieza wanted to get rid of them in the first place, with him and his squad blowing away Frieza's expectations and conquering Kanasa in record time. But during said invasion, the final Kanasan leaves Bardock with an ill omen, granting him the ability to see the future so he can foresee his own race's demise just like them.
That was deep, man. That was deep. The fact that Bardock and his team went to invade the planet of Kanasa, but they are a race of people with psychic powers. They can see the future. So the last surviving Kanasan, he attacked Bardock in the back of the neck and injected him with the power to also see the future, which it was so poetic because they wanted Bardock to suffer in the same way they did. It's them seeing their demise coming from a mile ahead. And that's why he was able to see Frieza wanting to kill the Saiyans.
Leading to Bardock attempting to rally the troops and oppose Frieza. Unfortunately for him, at this point, the Saiyans are far too embraced in the culture of the Frieza Force.
Yo, these Saiyans deserve to die. They didn't want to listen to him. They deserve to die, man.
Not even being able to imagine the status quo changing. A common thing people will say as to why the real Bardock is superior to his copy is how the copy was made into just another good guy. And that's certainly true. The original Bardock was the kind of guy who couldn't care less about his son, and upon hearing that his squad left without him, he rushed over, as to not miss out on another opportunity to slaughter people.
You heard that? That was his Saiyan biology right there. He can't help that, man. Yeah, I don't like how they butchered this new Bardock, man. They turned him into a beta male.
That being said, Bardock isn't just some murder hobo. He's a little bit more nuanced.
You call him a murder hobo, man. You gotta be kidding me, what the heck?
Part of him did want to check on his son, and additionally, he did ultimately care for his squad, with them sharing an unspoken respect for each other, going on to mourn their loss and vow to avenge them. Bardock was ultimately a proper example of a Saiyan, someone who grew up in the ruthless, uncaring society fostered by Frieza, but despite that, he wasn't completely devoid of emotions. He did have values he lived by, and those are ultimately what made him want to return, going on to oppose Frieza. Though, throughout his brief rebellion against Frieza, and the culture he's built,
this moment was so iconic, by the way. I just want to fanboy over this. Frieza! I'm coming for you, you murderous, self-serving traitor! It's over. That line hits me hard every time, and that speech he gives, "You live long enough." Actually, it's been too long for my taste. Sorry, I love Bardock, man. He's my goat.
Bardock is able to see visions of his son prospering, with him eventually accepting that he's able to see the future.
Wait a minute.
Is already grounds to despise him on its own.
The heck did I just see?
Minus was...
Look at that Saiyan with a buzz cut, man. You know who he looks like? He looks like Count Dracula from Hotel Transylvania, man. You gotta be kidding me. Get that Saiyan off my screen. Jesus.
Good. But as we've already gone over, not
Goku's mom as well, Gine.
Only does Minus overwrite the special, it also harms the story of the main series.
You know, before Gine, there was a theory for the longest time that Goku's mother was Fasha, the female Saiyan who was on Bardock's crew. You know, there was a lot of theories about that. But yeah, and then before that, there was a fan-made character known as Sharato, I think her name was. Yeah, but Gine is the official mom of Goku
as well. But it's about time we really get into Super Bardock's later involvement.
Oh no.
Because Toyotaro greatly elaborated on Super Bardock in the granola portion of his story. And pretty obviously, we'll be getting into manga spoilers for something that probably won't get animated until at least 2030.
I will say Bardock does look cool there. But the fact the way Toyotaro wrote him, yeah, you can see he's a big fan of Bardock. You can see he loves Bardock, that he needed to find a way to include him into the story. But the way he did it, I think he was just being coached by Toriyama. But yeah, it wasn't really included that well, man.
But before we start descending into Super Bardock, while we're still in a good mood, consider checking to see if you're subscribed. Apparently there's a decent...
Oh, I'm subscribed, brother. Let me just check if I like this video. Yes, I liked it.
Now, the first thing I want to say is on a surface level, Super Bardock is cool here. On a purely turn your brain off, hype and aura level, Super Bardock is a cool dude who does cool stuff.
Yep.
But once you start trying to analyze his involvement on a deeper level, he really starts to fall apart. If there's one word I would use to encapsulate my critique of Super Bardock, it would be that he's aimless. I kind of feel like Bardock is this arc, not because he strengthens the story, but because Toyotaro likes Bardock and wanted to include him.
What the heck?
He strengthens the go.
That Bardock look like a hobo, man. Oh, homeless Bardock. At least they kept his crew in the manga. I respect that.
This story actually happens before Minus, so I'd like to start out by saying that this entire story is a missed opportunity to have Bardock start out as a ruthless, uncaring Saiyan like the original.
So yeah, like, I don't get how people are saying that Super Bardock is better than Z Bardock, because the only caveat I will give, the only good thing is that Goku's mother was introduced, Gine was showcased, but the way they wrote everything else, man, I don't like it. It's horrible writing for Bardock. So yes, if y'all enjoyed that video, do drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on Bardock's whole character regression, his whole retconning. If you want me to react to more videos like this, do drop a comment down below, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be sure to be back with another video real soon. Peace.